Miss Lotus Fankh. What's up? What have you been working on?
Ooh, what have I not been working on? That list is smaller. I've been finishing up my next project. I've been doing a lot of writing and exploring myself in different fashions and bringing it more into Miss Lotus Fankh world. And I figure, I've been writing all this time. I might as well bring some of that into, my artistry.
Yeah. So writing, so Lil Birdie told me that you are putting on a play.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Tell us about that.
Well, it's not a lighthearted play. There's some comedy in it, but it's more of the laugh to keep from crying comedy. We're discussing eating disorders, friendship, and really breaking away from keeping everything inside and really learning how to branch out.
Is this a personal story that you're telling, but through a different lens?
It's a personal journey, I realize that a lot of people struggle with body image issues, and you don't even have to have a fully developed body to struggle with body image issues.
Right.
Unfortunately, even as a teenager, it was something that's like, I gotta do something about, my gut, my butt, these things that I just got. Now all of a sudden I want to alter them.
Right. Right.
So it's
you haven't even had time to process what you do with these.
And I'm already trying to let's get rid of it,
right.
And so it's definitely like, I know it's relatable, and it's something that I don't feel like we talk about it in the light that we should. It's more so, especially now with filters and Facetune and all this stuff, it's just like, it's just a given that you want to alter your body no matter how you look. And it's like, it falls to the wayside.
Right. It's like we're not really discussing it now. It's like, oh, we know it exists.
Oh, we know 100%.
Right.
Go get some skinny pops. You ain't supposed to eat 4 popsicles a day. I promise you.
Oh,
that's not a diet.
That's not a balanced meal. Right? No, and that makes so much sense. And I think it's also important, just even as a creative person, to be talking about good health practices and about that kind of struggle. Because I think all too often we see some extremes in some other ventures. We talk about drugs, we talk about alcoholism, but we often don't talk about the ones that are right there in our face, very confrontational, that anybody could be experiencing and nobody would know. Okay, so project. You have music, you have the play. Tell us about the music, what's going on.
The project is called Alignment, and the name came just because with this project there's just so many things lining up. I had the opportunity to work with some great Milwaukee musicians. They're going to be featured on the project. Just tons of support, and I'm really excited to see what comes from it. I'm also, you might be seeing some remixes come out of some of those songs too by some cool producers here in Milwaukee. So there's 6 songs. I'll be doing a monthly single release to keep people, in tuned and seeing what's coming next. And then it'll all happen after the release of the blog.
Okay. Now the blog. I want everybody to know about the blog. So please tell us how this blog ties in, because like I said, Dana, you are creative. I can't put you in a box. I can't put you in a bubble. You are creative. So you having this blog, this is another expression of your creativity and another deep one.
Oh yeah.
Writing is something that can take you places that other things can't. So please explain.
Absolutely. So I like to say that I birthed the blog. Seriously, it was a whole process. I had this idea, so I went through this fitness journey, and it was a culmination of just starting to run, and then my knees got bad, and I was like, I got to do something else because I'm running and kicking it and getting the gym membership, going with friends. Shout out to Planet Fitness, because y'all Black Card membership got a lot of us into the gym. I ain't gonna lie. And then, when I got tired of waiting for my friend to take me, I got my own little membership so I can go on my own time and really put my focus, well, when I started working out, my focus was I want to make a habit out of it because I want to make a healthy habit, you know.
Yeah.
Same idea when I was first time vegetarian, second time vegetarian, you know, it was all for my health.
Right.
So I started working out, and the thought came to me like, oh, I've got to share this with people, because people will ask me like, why didn't you lost all this weight? You look so different. What have you been doing? What have you been doing? So the urge came early on to like share the process with people, but it's hard to share a process that you're like still creating.
Good.
So, you know, it was just always in the back of my mind, like, one of these days I'm going to write about this. One of these days I'm going to do this weight loss journey. One of these days I'm going to document it, you know. And one of these days, like never really came. But earlier this year, all of a sudden, that voice in the back of my head was like, you better. And I started with a story. I started with the story of my 6-year-old self, and like really backing up and like, where did this all start? And it started when I thought that bacon cheeseburgers and french fries was just all you needed to survive. Oh. Like, for real, like my mama used to be concerned. She'd be like, can you poop? You know, like,
right.
What's going on with
right.
your insides? But I'd be like, you know, shoot, bacon cheeseburgers is what's going on.
Right.
I'm good. You know what?
That's what you gonna eat. That's what you right.
What's wrong with the world? You know. But I never knew, and you know, and then you go to school, the place where, you know, you're supposed to be getting your education, and they're giving you the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, bet, you know, that's my life meal. And from that story, I really started to go through a process, and that's where all creation, like, it's just always this process of like digging deeper, really,
right.
with my music, even with from the strumming and the notes to the words. It's always like I'm unveiling these things, like trying to figure it out for myself, and then eventually it comes out, and it's this thing that people can understand.
Right. Right.
Because it's a process of me understanding,
right.
you know, like what I went through. So when I wrote that first story, it was just like, oh, like I was essentially reliving all of these thoughts, all of these like past experiences that brought me to where I am today.
But I think it's beneficial because you let me see a sneak peek of the blog, and I really felt honored that you let me see it. But you know, like reading through it, and it was like, oh wow, and you know, just understanding the expression, and I can see where it was like going back into your memory and pulling that out and having to say it, having to say like, this happened. This is what I thought about it, or maybe this links to this and this process in my life and how I got to this point, you know. And I think that's a part of that journey that we often don't talk about, is that going into your past, you learn things about yourself that explain so much, and that can help you with your future in expressing that. So I think you're doing a good job in that, and in so many different ways. And so that's good, because I think what you're doing right now and showing your artistry, you have a little bit of something for everybody. So I think everybody should be paying attention, paying attention to what Miss Lotus Fankh has to say. You gotta grab your pearls and twitch your eyes when you say it.
Miss Lotus.
Like that.
So I put the miss on it.
Right.
It's official.
It's official. Okay.